took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills, till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide bring it down. Oh, the landslide bring it down. I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills, till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, a landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down. I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills where the landslide bring it down, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills where the landslide bring it down, oh, the landslide bring it down. I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn.
On Friday, November the 5th, 2021, at approximately 9:20 p.m., the Jackson County Sheriff's Office was changed forever. Deputy Lena Marshall and Deputy Zach Billings responded to a domestic call. The worst thing that could possibly happen did happen. Deputy Marshall was shot and lost her life. She was doing what she loved most, and that was serving and protecting the people of Jackson County. Deputy Billings, who was being trained by Deputy Marshall, returned fire and striking the suspect. Deputy Marshall and Deputy Billings ran to the danger that night. That is what law enforcement officers do. While others are in the safety of their home, there are brave men and women who are protecting you each and every minute of every day. We had the privilege of having Deputy Marshall be a part of our Jackson County Sheriff's Office family since June of 2020. She had 4 children, Chelsea, Kylie, Colt, and Precious Little Austin, who passed away 18 years earlier at the age of 6 on the same day that Lena passed away. Lena loved her children dearly. She also had her 2 dogs, Lula Mae and Blaze, and she had many, many special friends. Prior to working with us, Deputy Marshall worked with Winder Police Department, Helen Police Department, Habersham County Sheriff's Office, and Barry County Sheriff's Office. She had over 10 years of law enforcement experience. You need a servant heart to work in law enforcement and all public safety for that matter. Well, you know what? Deputy Lena Marshall had that servant heart. She loved her job. She gave it all she had all the time. She didn't back down from anything. She loved her shift, and she loved all her brothers and sisters in blue, and we all loved Lena. Deputy Marshall would lock you up if you needed it, but she would turn right around and help you also. She's helped many who were hurting. I've received numerous messages since this tragedy from people who have told me that Deputy Marshall changed their life forever. One message in particular where Deputy Marshall arrested a lady in 2020 who actually was being abused herself. On the way to the jail, Deputy Marshall and the person she arrested had a personal talk about the difficulties of raising children and being in an abusive marriage. She said that Deputy Marshall listened to her without judgment, and that Deputy Marshall told her that one day, she told her something she would never forget. Quote, "I know this sounds crazy, but this will help you one day," end quote. A little more than a year later, this lady is living with her in her home, her new home, peacefully with her children. She's a board member with a newly founded animal rescue business. Her biggest regret, she said, is not being able to tell Deputy Marshall thank you, stating, quote, "That woman saved my life," end quote. It is heartbreaking that law enforcement has been so demoralized and vilified. There is very little respect for law enforcement anymore. It is hard to fathom the evil in our society, but we all witnessed that evil firsthand on Friday night. Evil is around every corner. We have to keep moving forward, fighting the fight, and stomping out that evil. Chelsea, Kylie, Colt, we love y'all, and we're here for y'all, and whatever you may need. Your mom, Deputy Lena Marshall, left a legacy that will never be forgotten. In closing, to all of you, as the sheriff and on behalf of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, we would like to thank everyone for the outstanding amount of support and love shown to us during this tragic time. We will never be the same. Galatians 6:9 says, "Do not grow weary in well-doing, for in due time you will reap if you faint not." We may be weary, but we will carry on, and we will do that for Deputy Lena Marshall. And Matthew 5:4 says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." As the sheriff and on behalf of all the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, I want to thank each and every one of you that have come out today and have been with us through everything since that Friday night. God bless you all. And to all law enforcement officers out here, always, always be safe.
You could be my silver spring, blue-green colors flashing. I would be your only dream, your shining autumn ocean crest. Don't say that she's pretty.
So I have a confession to make. I'm not Zach Billings. He's standing right here behind me. I have the privilege of reading a statement and a prayer that Zach wrote for this occasion. He writes, "For the first 11 years of my marriage, my wife never saw me shed a tear. So when I cry in just a second, it's because I have allergies or something in my eye. If you ever speak of it, I will deny it that it ever happened." There are a lot of people in this room that knew Lena Nicole Marshall for many years, had built a strong relationship with her that are unwavering in this moment. I'm not one of those people. I knew Lena for almost exactly 28 hours. I was her trainee for just over 2 shifts. In that time, we talked about a lot of things, but religion was not one of them. Honestly, Lena scared the crap out of me. She was absolutely intimidating. I can count on just about one hand how many people I have come across in this world who have intimidated me, and she was by far the smallest. I was able to spend some of my field training time with several officers. I got the pleasure of riding with a particular deputy for 2 weeks before I was placed with Lena. This trainer and I talked a lot about religion, and we quickly realized that we had a lot in common. Us having almost identical beliefs and being in a very similar time period in our lives made it easy for us to talk. However, Lena and I were in drastically different times in our lives. Most of our conversations were about her new Chevy Blazer and the fact that I had never watched the movie Urban Cowboy, which almost got me kicked out of her car in a failure to train report. I say that so that I can say this. I owed Lena the same openness about religion. I never spoke with her about my God. I never asked Lena if she knew our Lord and Savior. I was too intimidated to ask, and I allowed my fear to keep me from ministering to her, and that is something I will never again allow to happen. Lena, I make this vow to you. I will never again question if I should or should not minister to a fellow brother or sister. If I'm ministering to you now, I will probably throw in a few cuss words while I'm trying to tell you about my God. God and I are working on that. If you're sitting in this room, I ask you to stop, search your heart, and ask yourself if you're right with God. If that answer is no, or you're not sure, then I beg you to fix it. Don't allow yourself to question your faith, and don't ever postpone it, because in the blink of an eye, everything can change. I would like to ask everyone if they'll bow their heads and pray with me. God, I know that you are the ultimate healer, and only you can take away this pain that we're feeling. More than being the ultimate healer, you are the ultimate planner. Lord, I ask one thing of you. Please let all the hearts touched by Lena grieve and mourn the exact amount of time you see fit. Not 1 second less, not 1 second more. Lord, I don't know what your plan is for me, but I ask that you show me your path and that you give me the strength to walk it. I know I'll stumble and fall. I pray that when I do, you remind me to always turn to you, and that you will always reach out with your outstretched arms to lift me up. God, let you be the rock I build on my foundation on. I know that as long as you are my core, I will always stand strong, even when the devil stares me in the face. I will continue to praise you, God, in Jesus' name. Amen.
I got a half a six-pack of old Milwaukee and a half a bag of weed. I can't do it like I did when I was a kid. This is all I'm gonna need, because I know you always worried about me drinking my dinner, but I don't do that anymore. I got me a sweet girl at home, she's keeping food on the table, and at night she keeps me warm. So I've got me this piece of paper, and I've got my favorite pen. I know it's been a little while, and talking's not my style, so I just have.
I'm not a public speaker at all, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize up front for my lack of that talent. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize to Miss Janice for my language, too. Y'all have heard a lot about Nicole, as I called her, as a cop. But I want to tell you about Nicole, the person. So the next few minutes is basically going to be rambling. So get ready. I'm not sure if soulmates are a thing, but if they are, she was mine. I believe that there are certain people that come into your life at a time when you need them the most, and you just connect with them more than anybody else. And she was that for me. I'll be grateful for her friendship for the rest of my life. There are things that she and I went through together that neither of us would have survived without each other. I called her my no matter what. She never judged, no matter what. She was always on my side, even when I was dead ass wrong. She'd tell me later, I never had to explain myself to her, ever. I could call her for literally any reason at any time, and without asking questions, she'd be there. But I've realized over the last week or so that that wasn't just for me. That was everybody that she loved. That was all of her friends, all of her brothers and sisters in law enforcement, all of her family. That's just who she was. The impact that she had on so many lives, she won't know. Nicole's life wasn't easy, ever. She was one of those people who just constantly drew the short end of the straw. She got dealt the shittiest hand of cards anybody has ever had. But her capacity to love and to care and to show other people kindness despite those obstacles that she'd overcome was incredible to me. The things that she'd gone through in her life should have made her hard. And she was. But she was also soft. She was comfortable wearing her heart on her sleeve as soon as she trusted you, which wasn't easy for her. If she loved you, she made sure you knew it. I can't remember ever hanging up the phone with her or leaving her house or her leaving mine without her saying, I love you. In fact, at 9:18 Friday night, I had texted her. We were talking about some things. In fact, we were talking about her vanity plates for her new blazer. And we finished our conversation, and I said, love you, be safe. And at 9:18, I looked at my phone, and it said, love you too, always. If you don't have a friend like her, you gotta find one. You'll only need one, trust me. Nicole loved being a cop, and she was a damn good one. But she was so much more than the uniform she wore. She was hands down the best mom I've ever seen. She fiercely loved Chelsea, Colt, Kylie, and Austin. And she would have gone to the ends of the earth to protect them from the hurt that they're feeling right now. She was Jack Daniels and menthol cigarettes, midnight phone calls that lasted till 4 a.m. She was her pants tucked awkwardly into her boots. She was a Johnny Cash t-shirt and a messy bun. For those that knew her well, I can bet she's called you at least once about whatever rare affliction she'd found on WebMD that she had diagnosed herself with. I won't use the word hate, but I will tell you that she very strongly disliked most men. When I decided I was going to date again, there was usually a screening process, and no one that I picked was ever up to par until she introduced me to one that she picked, who I'm still with, whose personality is a clone of Brian's. We laughed about that a lot. Speaking of Brian, I hope you know that she loved you in a way that even as close as she and I were, I've never seen her love anybody. And I hope you know how happy you made her. I'll stop rambling now and I'll leave you with this. If you love Nicole or even just respected her, the best way that we can honor her is to live life as unapologetically real as we can, and as she did. Live your life fully. Tell people that you love them. Tell them so much it's weird. Take pictures of everything. Talk to random strangers. Do the things you're scared to do. Do the hard things. Make your life the best story in the world and don't waste it. She never wasted a drop. And we're all better because of it.
You remind me of a Sunday back home in old Kentucky, with the church choirs just belting to the pines. And I love you like the mountains loves the way the morning opens to a soft and bright greeting from the sun. So if it make you stay, I wouldn't act so angry all the time. I wouldn't keep it all inside, and I'd let you know how much I loved you every day. So darling, will you stay right here and shake this frost off of my bones? Well, I used to ride a Mustang, and I'd run that thing on high hopes till they raised the price of dreams so high I couldn't pay. So I let that car just sit there when I should have took you driving, the windows down while the music played. So if it make you stay, I wouldn't act so angry all the time. I wouldn't keep it all inside, and I'd let you know how much I loved you every day. So darling, will you stay right here and shake this frost off of my bones? Darling, will you stay right here and shake this frost off of my bones?
Good afternoon. My name is Rob Pelledo from Vallejo, California. Lena was my roommate for the time that she was there, being a private contractor, canine handler. I also would like to apologize in advance for expletives that may come out, because you can't talk about Lena without cursing. If you talked to her, you couldn't do it. You just got caught up in it. It was addictive. It was a virus, the way she just picked up on all the F-bombs and everything else, and we were just like two peas in a pod when it came to that. So, again, apologies as those slip out. Sorry, not sorry. Lena and I started out as Facebook friends, both of us being former canine handlers. You end up in different canine groups. And we friended each other. And then one day, a couple of years into our Facebook friendship, I saw a post that she was moving to California to be a canine handler out there. So I messaged her. I said, "Where are you going in California?" And she said, "Oh, I got this job at the airport. I'm going to be doing handling for this canine for this private contractor company." Well, I knew that private contracting company, and they don't pay a California living wage. So I said, "Have you found a place to live yet?" She says, "No, I haven't. I got some roommates. We're lining up, we're going to do this and this." I go, "Why don't you come stay with me? I'm about 40 minutes from San Francisco. Lay down here for a minute, get your roots, get your bearings, make sure that, you can do this." And eventually, she agreed. Now, to remind you, at this time, we were both pretty much strangers other than Facebook messages and all that. So I asked her, I said, when she finally decided, I said, "Did you run my background?" I said, "But of course, we don't ever do that." She says, "Nah." I said, "Did you Google me?" "Nah." I said, "So you're going to come out here, hang with a stranger?" She goes, "That's all right. I'll just shoot you if it's a problem." I said, "That's exactly what I would do too if you turn into some psycho woman. So we're going to get along just fine." Lena had no problem being Lena. She was 100% her every minute of every day. She never put on airs. She didn't change to be around anybody. There wasn't a chameleon in her. She got to the place 2 days late because she was on one of her missions. She was going to go see all these places before she got there. But she said, "I'm going to get there on the 27th. 27th came and went. I texted her to make sure she's okay because she's out on the road. I didn't know her yet that I didn't have to worry about her, but at that point I'm worrying about a young woman being out there on the road. She texts me back, says, "Nah, I just decided to go up north. I'm going to go up to Eureka and all that, come back down to Fort Bragg." I said, "Well, that's a little bit out of the way, but okay." And then another day goes by. I said, "How about today?" She says, "Oh, no, I decided to go check out this place, and we're going to go look over here." All right, so our first meeting she was 2 days late for. So I understand that's standard operating procedure for her. She was late for her first date with Brian. Legendary. But the very first day she gets there, she starts to take her stuff out of her truck. She doesn't worry about where her clothes are going to go or anything else. She says, "Where can I put my coffee maker?" I said, "Well, I have a coffee maker. I have a mighty fine coffee maker. It'll make you individual cups. You can make a full cup. I got a grinder. I got fresh beans." She goes, "Nope, I want to put my Keurig out." So I clear a space for her on the counter. She just sat right in. After that, she started getting unpacked. I run a canine training company. And that day I actually had an interview with a prospective hire. This boy had just gotten out of the Marines. And he was interested in going further, maybe getting into law enforcement and canine handling. So he comes out, and we're holding this interview in my kitchen, around my kitchen island. Lena comes out, and she starts interviewing him like she owned the place. "Boy, do you ever do this? What is your intention?" Blah, blah, blah. Goes right down the middle on him. That kid, I swear to God, shut down. She intimidated that Marine 2 days back. But she just fit in. By the third day, I walk out into my living room where my boots line up, where I come in the door. One of my pairs of boots are gone. Where are my boots? Well, she had put them on, went out to the back porch to have a cigarette. All right, no problem. But that became her thing every day, putting on my boots and just walking out. I said, "You got your own boots?" She goes, "Yours just slip on too easy." She actually took those things home with her when she left. I understand she still wears those for that same purpose. A little story about who she is and how she thought most of us in California thought. We had a party, not really a party, get together. some of the boys came over, and a friend of ours from Reno came down, and he was going to tattoo all of us while we sat around and drank whiskey and beer. And we started talking like good old boys do. And she's sitting there in the middle of my house and going, "What is going on here? Y'all sound like you're from Georgia." I said, "Well, not everybody in California is blue." But at that moment, I felt a badge of acceptance. She said, "I was from Georgia? All right, I'm feeling good about that." She would come out to the canine training for the agencies I trained out there, and she would offer her input. And let me tell you, I've met hundreds and hundreds of officers, hundreds of operators. Her tactics were spot on. She was a badass when it came to that stuff. So I'd let her coach my guys, even though she wasn't getting paid or anything. She just loved to do it that much, and she'd put them through the ringer. And then she made her chili, and I loved her all the more. Her chili, if you've never had it, it's nothing, I don't know how to explain it. It's not a culinary, thing. It's a bunch of cans of things. And it's a bunch of cans of things that have to be the exact right brand. And if you come home with the wrong brand, she's going to send you back out to the store because it had to be that brand. But it was amazing, and everybody who's ever had it can't talk enough about it. That and her chicken salad. So after settling in with her cooking for me and me cooking for her, we got to be like an old married couple. And we'd sit around at night. She'd get underneath her blanket with her ratty sweater on, and we'd watch our favorite show, Letterkenny. And we'd watch it ad nauseum, just laughing every time we saw it. So if you hear some kind of little phrases in there, those are kind of hidden in here for those who are true Letterkenny fans. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on Hulu. You need to watch it. Lena loved a good road trip. She was truly a gypsy. She loved just getting in her car and driving with no real destination other than the end game, with no timelines. She was never in a hurry to get there. Her joy was in the journey, not in the destination. Her and I also had this in common. We both believe Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I'll give you some superlatives of Lena. She was legendary. Absolutely legendary. She was physically beautiful. She was like our Laura Croft Tomb Raider with a badge. Matter of fact, I heard an interview the other day with Angelina Jolie, and she says she keeps getting all that work on her so she can look more like Lena. I do. I always found a resemblance between those two, and it was funny the whole week I've been here when I'm sitting in the hotel room or anything else or not sleeping all night. Every stinking movie on Showtime and HBO had Angelina Jolie in it. As already been said, she was a wonderful mother. And I know that's easy to say, but I got to tell you, her kids are just like her in so many ways. And so they all came out. Colton stayed with us a while. The girls came out and stayed a while. And we went and did fun things. But to watch that family interaction, the sibling interaction, the level of love and affection between these ones, and the slap fighting that goes on between these two is just epic. But there is nothing but love. And that's just a testament to how much love she poured into all of those kids. As was already mentioned, she had a less than ideal childhood and even a worse adulthood. And she plowed through it. She plowed right through it all the time. She was an excellent officer. And as I was here all week, on the days I had nothing to do, I traveled to each city and county that she had worked in previously just to stand where she stood and to feel what she felt and look at the neighborhoods and think about the calls she might have been on. But as I went to different establishments, I don't know, maybe people picked up on the fact that I have an accent. At least that's what they told me. They said, "Where are you from?" Every time. I've never been asked where I'm from any place else. "Where are you from?" "I'm from California." "You must be here for the races." "No, I'm here for Lena Marshall." And each time I did that, each establishment had to come up and shake my hand, thank me for coming out, and tell me all the wonderful stories. They just couldn't say enough good things about her. And knowing Lena the way I know Lena, you met her, you loved her. And that was it, and that's truly, truly who she was. She was a lover of photography. She made many friendships doing that, and she was talented. If you haven't seen her work, it's just breathtaking. She was a creature of habit. Her Camel Crush cigarettes. And she almost hated California outlawed those candy cigarettes. No more flavored cigarettes in California. When they passed that law, she says, "It's time for me to move." I don't know if y'all ever saw her cake coffee. So what we call cake coffee is when Lena makes one of those Keurig things, puts it in her cup, 13 to 20 sugars, and as much as that fabricated powdered coffee made, what do you call that, creamer, powdered creamer she could put in there. And then she would run that K-cup a second time through the Keurig machine. And then add that to that and add probably 20 more coffee or sugars. And so you just like sugar and cream. I swear you could cut it with a knife. She loved her Jack Daniels. You know, the amazing thing when she showed me that bottle collection that she had that was so identical to Brian's, I knew it was a match made in heaven. And you know, we tried to warn her about the health complications of having these kind of habits. You know, this is bad for you. Lena, you got to quit that smoking. "I'm all right." I said, "Your lungs have to be black as tar." "They ain't black. I'm fine." I said, "And you're smoking that menthol stuff." "I'm fine." "And your liver." "I'm fine." Little did we know, she was fine. When we got the reports back for her organ donations, they were just absolutely perfect. And I'm like, okay, she wasn't lying. She was fine. She probably could have lived 150 years doing what she was doing. But her best attribute of all was her stubbornness. Now, I know you might think that that's some kind of negative, but stubbornness is also tied to tenacity. Of course, she wouldn't do anything anybody advised her to do. I tried to advise her on many different things, finances and everything else, how to build a business, how to do everything else so that she could be financially independent. Oh, I don't need none of that. Yeah. But that tenacity, that stubbornness is also what made her push through all of those difficult times, that made her able to absorb the blows that came to her again and again throughout her life. She was always pushing through. She lived life by her own terms. There was nobody going to tell her how she was going to do anything, including her superiors from time to time. She'll do what you told her to do, but she's going to gripe about it and tell you about it the whole time, drop some F-bombs and go on. She had a gritty demeanor on the outside. She was tough as nails. I would have went into any battle with her, knowing that I didn't have to worry about my six. She'd have been the greatest partner on the face of the planet. I have no doubt I would have loved being able to serve side by side with her when I was in law enforcement. But that rugged, tough, badass chick on the outside, cried like a baby at the sight of a puppy. I think that's what she loved most about living with me. Running the canine company, getting to see all of our dogs, plus I run a nonprofit rescue that takes in dogs for behavioral issues, and she just wanted to love on all of them, including a little 12-week-old Malinois that was just out of control, and she would spend time just letting that dog attack her and laughing the whole time. She was a hero, not only to this community, but even in her passing. Like I said, her organs were in great shape. They went out to people who needed it, and she saved lives, even in her death. To that, we all are a debt of gratitude. Now, to Lena, I got a few things to say to you, girl. Yep, we're all here because of you. Yep, I've got a suit and a tie and shiny boots on. Yep, there's flowers on your car. Yep, we're crying. All those things you would have told us to just knock it off. You wouldn't have had any of this. You would have been mad, so mad. Get that off my car. What are y'all doing? Well, let me put it to you in your words, Lena. Tough shit. We came here today to honor you. Enjoy it. Sit back, relax, because it ain't going to change. We're here for you. You honored us with your presence for 49 years. It's our turn to honor you for just this little bit. I have my own way of dealing with times like this when we try to understand the tragedy. Why? Why, Lena? Why did it have to happen like this? So in my mind, I make up things to cope. And I like to think about the positive. Like I said before, she had a rough life. Like Lauren said, she always drew the short straw. She always knew that when she was riding the peak of happiness, that the shitstorm was just behind it. I believe I've never seen her happier in her life. I believe Brian brought that out in her. I believe that K5 Blazer just icing on the cake. She is never, ever happier. She used to be a prolific Facebook poster, if you all know her. I mean, 5 to 10 posts a day of some kind of meme telling you how crazy she was and some kind of picture of her in the next selfie. When Brian came along, those things faded off. She didn't need that. She found something to occupy her time that was worthwhile. So we want to thank you, Brian, from the bottom of my heart. I don't know you before this week. I love you, man. Thank you. I think I say it for everybody. Thank you. Colton, your mama describes you as her man-child. And I think you all have a phrase down here that says, that boy sure loves his mama. There was no doubt that boy would have tore down the Empire State Building if something ever, just to get to his mama to save her. Kylie, so sweet, such a hard worker, so beautiful. You're like the balance of mom. And Chelsea, you're the rock. You're your mama's twin, other than your better taste in wine. You guys got to hold on to each other. Everything's going to work. She raised 3 strong, beautiful children. Don't let this setback hold you back. You press forward, you do her good, you honor her. In closing, and when someone says in closing, that means they probably got 3 or 4 more points. Y'all have been to church. If I had known that the last time that I ever hugged Lena was going to be the last time, I'd have hugged her like there was no tomorrow. I would have held on so much longer. I would have told her I loved you so many times more. So with that, I'm telling you, make sure when you guys hug each other from this point forward, hug each other harder, love each other stronger, tell each other I love you. Nobody is promised tomorrow, and we keep forgetting that every single time we come here to these kind of things and we go, yeah, we're going to do that, and we just fall right back into the same old routine. Man, don't do it. Don't do it. Lena, thank you. Thank you for bringing us all together. Thank you for being you. I want to thank you all for coming on behalf of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and the Marshall family. I would like to ask that you all stay seated except for law enforcement and the family. We're going to proceed out to the parking lot. We're going to have a ceremony. You'll be able to watch it here on the big screens. We ask that you just remain there until that ceremony is over. Thank you very much.
So I'm back to the velvet underground, back to the floor.
Hunted. Hook. Ready? Move. Ready? Oh! Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Reset! Off!
Deputy 4163, Lena Nicole Marshall, without a firm, gone to be with her father forevermore. In March, November 8th, 2019.